The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors. Right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
And welcome everybody to Generations Radio. As you know, I'm Percy Ihara, your host and editor and publisher of Generations Magazine. So if you haven't picked up the April-May issue, we're on the cover. We have Coralie Matayoshi, head of Hawaii Red Cross. So a lot of great stories and really about what Red Cross does for Hawaii. So check us out. For you baby boomers that work downtown, we have a number of locations down on Barrett, on Alakea Street, Queen Street, Merchant Street, by the post office, by Pioneer Plaza Building, and actually down on King Street by Down to Earth. And one of our biggest locations is at Ward Center, where the theaters are, at Big City Diner. As you guys know, we're here every Saturday from 5 to 6 and Sundays from 3 to 4, as well as on our website, generations808.com. You can listen to all our past shows, and give me another month, and we're going to have a YouTube channel, Generations Magazine YouTube channel, where you can watch all our videos and listen to all our radio shows. So it's coming soon. So thanks for your patience. But we're here today with a nonprofit in our aging field called Project Donna. And for those of you who don't know what Project Donna is, Cindy's here is going to explain to you what it is. But it's one of the locally recognized nonprofits that deal in our senior field, and also nationally recognized as well, right, Cindy? So we have here Cyndi. I always get your last name mixed up, and I apologize.
That's okay.
Cyndi
Oshijima.
Oshijima. See, I always go Okajima for some reason. Oshijima. Yes. Welcome to the show, Cyndi. And I didn't realize that you've been with him 20 years?
22 years.
22 years.
I graduated from UH in 93 with my master's in public health, and this has been my only job.
Really?
Then. Yes.
Wow. I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you. It's my dream job.
So for those of the listeners out there that don't know Project Donna, can you give us a little bit of background and even, toot your own horn? I mean, you guys do great work and won national awards, but give us a little background on Project Donna.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Percy, for asking us to be here. And I'll just quickly introduce the rest of the panel that's here.
Yes.
There's Maria Morales. She's a student. Will be graduating on Saturday with her bachelor's in social work.
Yay, Maria.
Kim Cannon. She's our support group facilitator. And there'll be Liz Nelson. She's one of our dedicated site leaders from our sites, Church at the Crossroads. And Mike Hirano, he's our home safety specialist. But first of all, the one thing I do want to start off with is we're from Project Donna. It's spelled D-A-N-A, but it's pronounced Donna like the girl's name. Not Dana, but Donna. And a really brief history. Project Donna started in the kitchen of Mo'ili'ili Honganji Mission. With our
kitchen?
Yes. During Bon
Talk story time?
Yep.
Really?
And our beloved founder, Mrs. Shimeji Kanazawa, met with Mrs. Rose Nakamura, our current administrator, and they talked about Mrs. Kanazawa's dream was to have a volunteer caregivers group in Hawaii.
And she was our third cover story in the magazine,
I think
Generations.
so. It was a really nice.
It was like November of 2010. And a beautiful picture our photographer Brian Suda took up, and it was in the church, the temple.
Yep, it was in Mo'ili'ili Honganji. Right. But she is, like I said, our beloved founder. Unfortunately, she passed away last April. But this was her dream, to have an interfaith volunteer caregivers program started in Hawaii. And so it started out of Mo'ili'ili Honganji, and Mo'ili'ili Honganji had the first group of volunteers, the women's group, of course, and they helped about 110 persons. And then now we have 32 sites, what we call sites across the state. Either they're churches, temples, or community organizations. And they're on the islands of, Big Island of Hawaii, Maui, Kauai, and then Oahu.
And so when you say you're on all the islands, you have, how many chapters do you have now?
We have 32 what we call sites.
Wow.
We call sites. Yeah. And like I said, they could be from churches or temples to community organizations. Like on Maui, there's a Maui Okinawan Kenjin Kai, and they are a site of Project Dana.
And when you say a site, Cyndi, what does that exactly mean? I mean, it's not a Project Dana office in every church, right?
The main Project Dana headquarters is in Mo'ili'ili. A site is a church or organization that has committed to volunteer caregiving. So they have a leader, a very dedicated, hardworking leader, and then they work with their group of volunteers. And majority of the volunteers are from the church or the site.
And, I called you a few months ago, and guys, if you're listening, they're a great resource. I use these guys quite a bit, and I met Rose and Shimeju many years ago. But I know I called you a few months ago, and I didn't realize myself, even though I know a lot about you guys, that you don't have to belong to the church, because it was just based off of the interfaith or faith-based, right?
Interfaith organization. But we have.
So, how does that work? Explain to our audience, how does that work? Because I didn't even know.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, thank you, first of all. Like I said, majority of our volunteers are church members or community organization. I would say like 95% are the church members or the organization members. And we have volunteers, friends of volunteers, family members. We have volunteers that were former recipients. We have college students like Maria. Colleges and universities are very wisely now encouraging service learning.
It's very important. I mean, I know a lot of high schools as well, right?
Yeah. Well, high schools, I think maybe their priority is a little bit different from volunteering with elderly, but colleges and universities. So for us at Mo'ili'ili, UH, HPU, Chaminade, KCC, HCC, Windward, they're all encouraging service learning.
So can you give us a little background on I know your mission has been great. I mean, you just celebrated 25 years?
Yeah, we just, last year.
Last year, right? I went to that event.
Yes, you went to that. And we're well into our 26th year of volunteer caregiving. And the mission statement for Project Dana is that Project Dana provides a variety of support to the frail, elderly, disabled persons and family caregivers, contributing to their well-being, enabling them to continue independence with dignity in the environment of their choice. I think most seniors would want to live at home or age in place, is the phrase.
I did a workshop this morning, and I was telling the audience there that they want to live in age in place. They want to live in a home. Mm-hmm. But the reality is they don't have a whole lot of choices, because we have less than half of the national average of care home beds in the state of Hawaii. National average is about 46 beds per 1,000 people. We only have 22. That number is not growing very much. We already have a shortage of caregivers, so they don't kind of have a choice.
That's true.
If you think about it, 90% of the people are going to have to live at home and find some way, whether Maria you take or Kim you take care of your mom or your grandmom, or they're going to have to find somebody. Yeah.
Here in Hawaii, at any one time, there's less than 5% of elders in facilities.
Yeah.
That means like 96% are in the community.
Right.
So Project Dana, we're one of the community-based organizations that provide social support to the elders for them to live at home or age in place. Because I don't know if anyone that says, "Oh, when I get old, I want to live in a nursing home." I don't know that.
Well, I'll be honest with you personally. I told my wife the same thing, and I live close to Arcadia, and I've been there several times. 15 Craig, so I love the plaza. One of my big pet peeves, I don't like doing the yard. I'll be honest with you. One of my big pet peeves, I don't like to drive. So I'm probably going to plan to move into one of those properties. I'll be honest with you. That's my plan.
So no yard and no cars.
Yeah. Plus, I don't have to worry about cooking. My wife's a great cook, but why not have somebody cook for you? There's a library right there. There's internet service right there. I mean, you know how much cable might cost for my cable? Even though they have Hawaiian Tel as a deal, it's like $180 a month.
And your wife is okay with this?
Well, I think so. Her uncle's there, my auntie's there, and they're in their 90s. And I'll tell you, true story, I talked to them separately when they first moved in about 3 years ago. Different conversations. And the first thing they told me? I wished I moved in earlier. They both were 90. And they said they want to move in earlier. That's my plan, if I can accomplish that. So that's the goal. But you're right. We don't have enough care home beds.
No.
We don't have enough nurses.
No.
Not enough CNAs. So what you guys do, Cyndi, is just tremendous. And I've always told people, it's a fact, as we get older, we're all going to kind of reach back and go back to the church.
Yeah.
And get back to religion and understand it's a safe haven. We have, like my church, Honolulu Christian in Manoa, we have a octogenarian club, and we definitely. I think we have a project down there, right? At Honolulu Christian.
Previously, there was one.
Oh, previous one. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll got to get it back. So anyway, I'm sorry. So some of the programs that you have, Cyndi.
Okay, I can talk about the services that
Yeah.
through trained volunteers, and we have the volunteers are the heart of the project. And so we provide what we call social support or social supportive services. So it's things like respite, which is the very needed temporary caregivers relief. Percy, let's just say you live with your elderly grandma, and you have to go to work, or you want to even just go to the store. Someone to stay with her, so you have peace of mind knowing that somebody's with her. You don't have to rush here and run there and then worry. So that's the respite. Then we have what we call friendly visitors, volunteers who go, and maybe a lot of the elders live at home.
Yes.
So just go over there maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks, and talk story with them. Watch TV, do crocheting, just to break up the isolation, because many of them are very isolated, not by choice, very lonely. So just someone to know that people still care about them. And then, or telephone visits. We offer telephone calls to seniors that are home. Sometimes they don't want somebody to come in. Just call them and say hello. And
that's really social contact.
yes, social. Yes, exactly. And then we offer transportation to the essentials like medical or doctor's appointments or dental appointments, and to grocery shopping, which is really important because there are elders that cannot even get out of the house. And so we offer, maybe if they cannot get out of the house, then we shop by list for them to the closest grocery store.
I remember I taped a segment of you when I did my Olelo Today's Kupuna show, and you brought in a lady that that did the shopping with the senior, and eventually a daughter helped out. Remember her name?
Yeah, her name was Martha, I remember.
Right.
Martha, okay. She has been with her lady for 22 years.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
her daughter kind of grew up with her,
yeah,
right?
in fact, the whole family did. So the elder has seen the children graduate, get married, have a job, everything. It's just, she became part of the family. Unfortunately, she passed away. I think it was about a year ago when she passed away. Yeah,
Wow.
but Martha, the volunteer,
And Martha
stayed with
was
her.
an executive with Toyota, I believe.
Yeah, with Surfco.
Surfco,
And
yeah.
she just retired 2 months
Herself.
ago. Yeah, 2 months ago.
Well, tell
yeah.
her I said hello whenever
Okay,
if you
yeah,
see her. But
yeah,
yeah, Leah, that's kind of stuff we do. It's a tremendous story. So, and Maria, I mean, this is what you have to look forward to. You know, I mean, I'll tell you, it's one of the few industries that you can go home and sleep good.
No, exactly. Exactly.
They're thankful. They appreciate what you do, and what you guys do. I mean, everybody needs to give back a little bit something to the community. You know,
I think most of the volunteers would say they get more than they give. They get more.
well, it's a fact. I mean, you're happier if you give versus just taking.
Yeah. And the elders, they have so much information, a wealth of information, a wealth of experience. It's just so interesting just to sit down and talk with them.
It really is. I mean, I take my parents. My parents. I was thinking about 5 years ago. I was thinking about what can I give my parents. They have everything. They don't want anything anyway. So except for go to Vegas 6 times a year. And so I found Jeanette Sargent Hamill.
Yeah.
Who was a videographer here locally, and I hired her to do a documentary on my family, my parents. So my dad who grew up in a Big Island, my mother who grew up in Maui, and the story together, raising 6 kids, traveling around the world. I'm an Army brat, came back to Hawaii raising kids, and now we have 14 grandkids and soon to be 7 great grandchildren. Oh. And I was just documenting their lives. And it's a true fact. I did not know my mother grew up with a Japanese first name. I knew her only as Shirley. I didn't know until we did this documentary. Isn't that amazing? People don't tell you those kind of stories. You know that? And you know why it was Shirley? Because she had curly hair growing up.
Like Shirley
so back
Temple.
in the day, who had curly hair back growing up? Shirley Temple. So it tells stories like that.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
Yes, it's just so interesting.
That's the stuff, that's why I tell everybody, once you look at people's lives, there's a treasure of stories and memories and
to hear the
facts.
plantation stories, to hear what women back then went through. We as women nowadays are so fortunate. We have choices when they didn't have any choices. We can go to school. We don't have to be married. We don't have to have children. We can have our careers.
Oh, I'm telling you, 10 years from now, we definitely will have a president. Maybe not this female that's running. Can't say who that is, but I think we will. I definitely think we'll see more CEOs. In fact, even if we get a chance, I believe it's in July or is it August? They have what's called the Wahine Forum. It's like women on steroids. It's about 600 to 800. Maybe I shouldn't use steroids, but
yeah, maybe you should.
It's like women are empowering women. It's like an all-day conference. It's at one of the big hotels, and it's like just empowering women how to be leaders and how to learn more about society and everything. So if you get a chance, Wahine Forum. I'll be one of the few men there. That's why.
Very good, Percy. Very good.
So I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean the programs you do is amazing. I mean I give you guys a lot of credit.
But we work with many different agencies, probably over 200 different public, private. We get calls from the hospitals. We get calls from all the agencies. So it's really nice to work with the different agencies out there. I mean, we can't do things like bathing, but we refer to St. Francis Bathing Services. We can't do things like like Meals on Wheels is very special too. Catholic Charities, they're all very, very. So if we work together.
So you're like the major resource for a lot of these aging issues that families are going to have.
Well, they can call us for information and referrals, yeah.
But there's no. So how many volunteers do you have? Do you have an idea?
Statewide, about 850. That's statewide.
Wow.
Doing different things at different times of the year. I mean, from offering in-home assistance to on the neighbor islands, they have these wonderful senior activity days where they bring in the seniors to the church, and they serve them lunch. They have activities, so we count all of that too.
And so, do you have to qualify? So they call you up, and you figure out what they need.
Yeah, it depends on what the need is, what the area is. On Oahu, of course, the bulk of the elders are in town, I guess, in urban Honolulu.
Yeah.
But out we have like Kailua, we have Mililani, so they can just call us and ask for information. And then again, if we cannot help them, because sometimes they need more than once a week, they need like 3 times a week, they want like 10 hours, we will help them find services available. Because
you're here at Project Donna, and you guys are a nonprofit that is faith-based organized. And so I know I remember I called you a few months back that a lady friend of mine was living in Kalihi. Mm-hmm. And then I remember about a year ago I called you about Waipahu, and I asked, do they have to belong to that church in the area? You said no.
No. Just that the sites are churches or community organizations. So if your friend called me from Mililani needing assistance, we'll give it to our Mililani site. Because they know the community the best. That's where their volunteers are.
And so the volunteers don't have to volunteer for people from the congregation. They can be,
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But like I said, majority are the church members. But, we welcome community volunteers also.
So do you have to qualify, or is there income, or
no,
how
there is
do you do
no
the services?
income criteria. It just depends upon the need. So since we offer social support, it's not like we can't do anything medical or nothing personal care. But if it's like shopping or visiting, we may be able to help. Transportation to the basics, we may be able to help.
What are like some of the more popular services that you guys? Questions that they ask you?
The most requested, the most needed maybe is transportation.
That's huge. Yeah. I was talking to the workshop I did this morning. I said, can you imagine? They're like 70s, 60s. Can you imagine 10, 20 years from now, you're not going to be able to drive? Think about that. Biggest loss of independence.
Especially for men, but anyway.
No, it's true. I saw my dad had a big accident. I said, what happened, Dad? It was about 5 years ago. I said, what happened? He goes, a boat hit me. I said, really? He drove onto Sand Island and crossed over, and the guy hit him. I guess he crossed in front of the boat, in the back of the boat. He hit the back of the boat.
The boat did hit him.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But,
so transportation is a big need. Another big need is respite or temporary caregivers release. And then Kim will talk about that too. Respite is for the caregivers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. It's just really taxing on the caregiver. So
when you say respite, what do you mean by that?
So temporary caregivers relief for a couple of hours, once a week, a volunteer will stay with the elder, so the elder can maybe, or the spouse or whoever it is, can maybe go to the store, just go for a walk, or just take a nap, just to get away from the caregiving situation for a little while.
So it's not overnight?
No overnight, no.
Do you guys ever do it overnight?
No.
So this is only volunteers, right?
Yeah, it's volunteers. So if the family or the elder does request overnight, then we give them, numbers that they can look into, resources. Yeah.
Oh,
but we do try to encourage, if there is family participation, friends maybe, if they can afford to pay for services, that's an option that they have also.
Wow. That's really good. And so about how many churches do you have or faith-based organizations?
Well, we have 32 what we call sites.
Sites.
We call sites across the state.
I know we can talk to Elizabeth later on, but so a site, they actually, so you have a coordinator like
Yes,
Liz.
a volunteer coordinator.
And what happens from there?
And then so if a referral comes to the Mo'ili'ili Project Donna headquarters and it's in the area of for example, Liz's Church of the Crossroads, we give it to the site leader, the information to the site leader. And then they go and see whether it's appropriate and whether we can help or not. Yeah.
And so, let's say I wanted to volunteer for my church. How do I go about that?
Just call me at 945-3736 and just say, Cyndi, I would like to volunteer. And then there's an orientation that we set up to meet you. You get to know the project. We get to know you. And what do you want to do? What areas do you want to do? What you don't want to do?
But what happens if I don't belong to the church?
That's all right.
Oh,
That's fine.
you make it easy.
And if you're bilingual, that's good too.
Oh gosh. What's her name? Sakura House.
Yeah, Sakura.
They have almost all Japanese speaking, right? But there's not a whole lot out there, is there? So do you have different people in the church that speak different languages?
Yeah, mostly Japanese. We have a few that speak Vietnamese, and then like Maria is bilingual. We have a couple that speak Chinese, but mostly Japanese.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of families out there. I mean, this is just a tip of the iceberg, don't you think? I mean, more and more is coming.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
So, do we want to? So, we're going to talk with Kim Cannon.
Kim Cannon, our support group coordinator. We'll now talk about our very unique support group.
Miss Kim, how are you? Good to see
Hi,
you.
Percy. Thank you for having us.
And so, please let us know and let our listeners know about the support group meetings.
Okay. The Project Donna Caregiver Support Group, we meet on the 2 consecutive meetings each month in the course of a year. And every other month we have an outing. And this makes us a unique support group.
What do you mean by outing? You going to go to lunch?
It's kind of a respite. We go to lunch. We go to the museum. Sometimes we just, go and have breakfast even. And then, that sort of thing. The different components that we offer besides the outing, which is very exciting for the caregivers, is an education component where we have people from out in the community come in, everything from, hospice, Meals on Wheels. We've had HPD come in. We've had Tai Chi masters come in. And they discuss the resources they offer for the caregivers and that sort of thing. And we don't necessarily promote any particular agency, but just bring them in so they can see what's out there, what types of questions to ask, and what's available. And then the other component we have is called a rap session, and that's where the caregivers get to talk story with each other, kind of vent, get it out.
Different experiences, situations, probably how to solve a lot of these problems and situations.
Yeah, exactly. And, as the facilitator, I'm not going in there as the expert. They themselves are on the front lines. They're there to help each other, and a lot of friendships have come out of the support group, And that's
so what are some of the complaints?
Well, a lot of them come in and they, when they initially come in, 80% of the caregivers are dealing with someone that has a type of dementia or Alzheimer's issue. And so when they come in, a lot of times they've been doing it for longer than 6 months. Sometimes they've been doing it for 5 years and they finally decide, okay, I need a break. They've reached burnouts. Some have, been even suicidal when they've come to a support group. They finally had to reach out because they knew that they've hit a wall.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And so they talk about the stresses they have. Sometimes there's a lot of family dynamics. Maybe they feel like they're the only one doing it all. They're trying to be the superwoman or superman. And they just need to be in a place where they say they feel normal. Because, they don't, there's a kind of a little bit of a feeling of maybe shame if you talk about, your feelings with your friends and people just kind of in your neighborhood. It's kind of embarrassing.
Well, they call it a silent tsunami because people don't talk about it.
That's it.
They try to take everything, like you said, be a superwoman, take everything on.
That's
And
it.
I do workshops all the time, and I tell people, fair does not mean equal.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. And if they hold it in, they can end up getting sick and in some cases have died before
A lot
the
of times,
person
a lot
they're
more than we
looking
want to talk
after.
about. More.
It.
I know 3 personal friends of mine, their mother died because taking care of dad.
That's right. And, if they can take care of themselves, they're a better caregiver for the person they're looking after.
Right.
And so it's important they reach out, get those resources, do what they need to do. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because a lot of them are afraid.
Yeah. It's really important. We're here at Project Donna. Again, real quickly, we're going to take a short break, Cyndi, but your phone number?
945-3736.
Is that how you get most of your call? You get calls, or do people go to your website?
Mostly calls.
Yeah,
Mostly
it's probably
calls.
better to call.
Yeah, we
And
encourage
probably
the calls.
want to meet you guys in person.
Yeah, I mean, talk story is probably the first best way to call us.
Yeah, because there's no set way to
No,
solve these
there's
caregiver
not.
respite issues.
No,
Yeah.
there's not. And the elders who live alone, it's just very hard for them.
Yeah. We're here at Project Donna. We're going to take a short break. Coming back, and so please hang on. Coming back, we're going to talk about fall prevention. And we're,
And then other
and then we're going to talk about one of your first, you said,
Yeah.
Project Donna sites here in town on University Avenue here. But anyway, we're going to take a short break. So hang on. We'll be right back.
I'm down for the memory.
We will be right back with Percy Ihara from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
This is George Kennedy for Interim Healthcare. I'm 86 now, and I consider myself one lucky guy. I cherish life, and I try to get the most out of it. And if I needed a little help, I'd count on Interim Healthcare. They help folks live independently in their own home. Need a little help? Why not give Interim Healthcare a call?
Interim Healthcare. When it matters most, count on us. Call us at 1-800-338-7786 or visit us at interimhealthcare.com.
Simplify your life by opening a My Social Security account. What's My Social Security? It's a secure, online account that allows you immediate access to your personal Social Security information. During your working years, you can use My Social Security to view your Social Security statement, to check your earnings record and see estimates of the future retirement, disability, and survivor benefits you and your family may receive. If you receive benefits, you can get a benefit verification, check your benefit and payment information, change your address and phone number, and even change your direct deposit information. Open a My Social Security account today and simplify your life. Just visit www.socialsecurity.gov/myaccount. While you're online, check out all the other things you can do at www.socialsecurity.gov.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy Ihara from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690 The Answer. Focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
Welcome back. This is Generations Radio. I am Percy Ihara, host, every Saturday from 5 to 6, on Sunday from 3 to 4, here on AM 690 The Answer. And if you don't know, KHNR has rebranded this station, and the tagline is called The Answer, which we give answers every Saturday and Sunday about senior issues and quality of life issues and caregiving issues. And today we have Project Donna. But if you, by the time this airs and you listen to it, wait a couple more weeks. In June, we're going to have our June-July issue of Generations Magazine, and we're going to have 3 stories talking about caregiving. We're going to have Mr. Michael Yee, our financial advisor, talking about caring for his mom. His Pamela Ani from the Alzheimer's Association, talking about long-distance caregiving for her mother in West Virginia. And then my good friend, classmate on Molokai, Lori, speaking about rural and neighbor island caregiving, which has been very difficult. As you know, a lot of less resources on the neighbor islands, on Molokai, by the way. Anyway, Cyndi, we did fail to let you know what Project Dana means or what the word Dana means. So, Cyndi, remind me because I always forget.
Dana, and it's spelled D-A-N-A, but we pronounce it like the girl's name, D-O-N-N-A. It's a Sanskrit word that means selfless giving. So volunteers that they give up their hearts, they give up their time, helping or assisting seniors, and with no expectation of nothing back in return. They just do little acts of kindness and compassionate care.
That's a great word. So did Shimeji or Rose?
No, it's one of the first 6 paramitas for Buddhists to become enlightened.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
And it's spelled D-A-N-A, yeah.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So now I'll just have one of our longtime volunteers.
Year and a half.
Yeah. Maria Morales. And she's a student up at UH, like I said before. She'll be graduating in September. Saturday. And we just want to have her speak about her experiences assisting 2 families over the year and a half and how it affects her experiences, and how she has seen changes in these elder.
Yeah. Well, Maria, thank you very much for coming on, and thanks for what you do. I mean, you're so young, and it's amazing, and I like to see young people in this industry because we need more younger people. Mm-hmm. As a lot of our caregivers will pass on, our CNAs will get older. So I'm glad you're leading our young troops here to get other people involved, hopefully. But yeah, give us your experience as a caregiver with Project Dana.
So for staying as part of my practicum, I got placed into Project Dana, and I was given the chance to work with 2 elders, and I provided services like transportation, and mostly it was on companionship, because my 2 elders, they're living at home with their family, but their families both work full-time, so they needed someone to, one of them needed someone to take them to doctor's appointments or errands, like going shopping, going to the bank. And the other one just needed someone to have lunch with them, just because they mostly stay at home on their own. And that elder actually often tells me that they're very happy to see me because, they actually get to speak to a human being instead of, watching TV the entire time. So he's really happy, for me to pick him up. Just even though it's just once a week, he gets to go out and talk to someone.
Yeah, it's so important because a lot of seniors are, I call them shut-ins, or they don't get out because their family can't take them out. They don't drive anymore. Who is going to take them out to the store? We used to take my mother-in-law to Chinatown every weekend. We don't do that anymore because she can't get out as much. But yeah, it's so important. So I give you a lot of credit now. Now you say you speak another language.
Mm-hmm. I do.
What is that?
I speak Tagalog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that help with your services?
Not so much because my 2 elders are Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But for me, what really helped me out was my culture, because I was exposed early on into caregiving.
Oh yeah.
Because it's kind of like a.
Did your parents or family take care of others?
Yeah. My mom actually took care of my my grandma and my dad's side, and my grandma and grandpa on my mother's side also, they actually both passed away at home, and that was actually something that I got to experience. So that was one of the stories that I shared with Cyndi when I first started, and it kind of set in how matched I was being part of the agency. Yeah,
so amazing the stories that people tell like you did, and that's a lot of times why people get into this industry. And I give you a lot of credit being a young student like that, graduating, that realizing what you're good at first of all, but also you have to have a lot of compassion in what you do, and that's one of the things and with the magazine as well, we're looking for compassionate businesses that want to give back and support our industry, because we support all these nonprofits. Because if we don't help out and we don't volunteer out there, I mean, our community would be much better if we had more volunteers. And I encourage everybody to volunteer in some form of capacity. In our April-May issue with Coralie Matayoshi on the cover, we actually have a list in the middle of different agencies that they can volunteer for. So it's very important. So I give you a lot of credit. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for doing this. And you're going to be on staff now for Project Donna?
Yes. Unfortunately, Kim is leaving us by the end of this month, but she's trained me very, very well, and she was a really great mentor in training me into becoming a leader for the support group. And I really look forward into working with the members of the support group, just because I got to know them very well during my practicum, and it was very hard to just cut off the relationship that I built in there. So I was very glad that Kim recommended me for the position, and I'm really glad that I was considered into taking the position.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
on getting a degree, first of all.
Yeah.
But I mean, and working for Project Donna. So thank you so much. Next we online of our ladies is Miss Liz here, and Liz, give our listeners your background and what church you belong to.
I've been a member of Church of the Crossroads for about 35 years.
Wow.
And it's on University Avenue. It's very centrally located. And it's actually was started as the first intentionally interfaith Christian church in Hawaii.
Really?
So it's got kind of an interesting background.
And I would say at least 50 to 80% of the UH students know where this church is at.
Well, not all of them come, but we have.
That's why I say it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know where the Church of the Crossroads is, when you go on ramp,
walk by it.
Go eastbound on the highway, come down University Avenue, take a right, go around that loop to go eastbound.
Right.
You're at a church
We're
there.
right there. We have the red pillars.
They have the children playing in the playground, things like that. So wow.
Underneath the freeway.
Right.
Yeah, that's the early school there.
And so you've been involved with Project Donna for how many years now?
Well, I've been at the church for quite a while, but the church has a long history of caring for people in the church. We've had 2 or 3 volunteers over the years that would call people, send cards, visit them in the hospital. Nothing real formal, but just kind of informal caring groups. And then I think it was in 1996, a couple of our members partnered with Project Donna and had Project Donna come in and talk with us about being kind of a partnership. And we were the first Christian church in Hawaii to partner with Project Donna, which had been traditionally kind of a Buddhist volunteer organization. Right. So it was a little more organized, and I mean, I've been a nurse for a long time.
Oh, you're a former nurse.
I'm a nurse, and I've worked in lots of different organizations, and I tell you, Project Donna is one of the most wonderful organizations I've ever worked with, because the bottom line is not money. The bottom line is really caring and trying to provide services for people. So we've been very honored. I've been very honored, but Crossroads has been very honored to partner with Project Donna. So we now have a care ministry. We've had a formal care ministry at our church for quite a while. And there's a couple of us that are coordinators of that and are coordinators with Project Donna. And we have maybe 12 or 14 volunteers that we do a little mini training for, just to talk about boundaries and talking with people and taking care of yourself and things like that. And those volunteers will sometimes take a regular person on and meet with them maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, take them to doctor's visits, take them out to lunch, give them a ride to church, go spend some time with them. We had a call from Cyndi that there was somebody who's not a member of our church but was a retired professor from the university, and he was living alone, and he wanted to have some volunteer support. His family on the mainland was a little concerned about him and wanted to have some company for him. So we actually got 3 gentlemen from Church of the Crossroads, and each one of them would go once every 3 weeks. So they took turns. And so he would have somebody, a gentleman, come and talk with him and take him out to lunch once in a while. One of them even took him to a concert.
Wow.
And they would spend sometimes 3-4 hours with him talking about his area of interest. Or it was a wonderful situation. It was wonderful for the volunteers, and it was wonderful for him.
Let me ask you something. A lot of the volunteers, seniors themselves.
Yes, they are. Yes, we are. And so they know that it's just so wonderful to be able to have somebody come in and spend some time with you, get you out, take you to lunch, those kinds of things. We also had an older lady who was in her 80s who lived alone. And she was having lots of dementia problems. We were all kind of worried about her being alone. So we found out that she had a social worker at Kaiser. And with the social worker at Kaiser emailing all of us, she has an appointment this day, an appointment that day. We were in touch with her family. We were able to really help her get to visits. And also her family decided to move her to the mainland. And so it really worked as a very coordinated effort between the hospital, the social worker, the volunteers. And the social worker said, I've never seen such wonderful people helping people out. And it was so helpful to send an email and have somebody actually respond and say, oh, we could do this or we could do that. So we can't take care of people. We can't go bathe them or visit them for 6 or 8 hours or every day. But we can do lots of wonderful things. And it can be so helpful because people are so lonely and so alone in their homes.
This is so true when you have family on the mainland. And, obviously they can't visit every day versus every month, let alone once a year, twice a year. And not to the point of isolated, but just they need to call. They need to have some social contact. Yeah. Is that so true?
It's very, very important. Very important. And Project Donna, the other thing that's been very helpful for us as volunteers at Church of the Crossroads is Project Donna will offer wonderful trainings. There's been some talks recently on dementia. A psychiatrist from the mainland and an attorney came and talked about neuropsychological issues and attorney issues and legal issues. It was so helpful. And also Mike Hirano does workshops on falls. And so those are wonderful things to offer to our volunteers to be able to go and get a little extra training.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful partnership.
Well, thank you, Liz. Yeah, Mike Hirano retired and then back to serving our communities. So Mike is with Project Donna. He's in charge of the safety and fall prevention program at Project Donna.
Yes. Thank you for having us, Percy.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I see you around. I mean, yeah, Project Donna is at the senior fair. You'll be at my Aging in Place workshop on August 15th. Are you guys going to be at the Okinawan one?
Yes, we'll be
at the
I'll be
Okinawan
at the
one and on Waipio. So, yeah. So, Mike, give our audience a little background on the program and what you guys do for the community.
Okay, our program is called Home Safety Fall Prevention. And what we try to do is to help seniors become more aware of fall prevention. And if I may just talk about a little information is 1 out of 3 seniors 65 years of age and older will fall every year.
1 out of 3?
Yeah, and those 85 and over are 5 to 10 times more susceptible.
Like 75% chance.
Yeah. And, injuries that are results are things like hip and bone fractures. And we become more aware of things like brain concussions and brain injury and brain trauma. There's so much emphasis now, if you're a sports fan, about concussions and brain injuries to football players. But there are more seniors who have brain trauma than these athletes that we know about. Yeah. So the emphasis should be put upon things that cause these injuries. Every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a senior is transported via ambulance to an emergency room because of a fall injury. And that's 8,700 per year here in Hawaii.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing number. Interesting. I go to Super Bowl with my friends, and 2 of them are fire captains. And last year is so interesting. We were in Maui last year, walking, and I was talking. I said, you know what? I said, these 2 fire captains said, I was just kind of get a gauge. I said, how many of your visits, the calls to the homes and the condominiums are for seniors? Shockingly, 75% of the calls they go to are just for seniors. I mean, the house doesn't burn down every day, maybe once every 3 or 4 or 5 days, right? But a senior, 75% of all the calls that these fire captains go to is for a senior.
That's right. The thing is, the good news is that 30% of these falls are preventable.
Right.
Yeah. And we do a free home safety assessment. We come out to the home and talk to you. Hopefully, we like to talk to the senior participant as well as family caregivers or caregivers
if they're
who are
around.
involved.
Yeah.
If they're around, yeah. And we try to increase awareness. A lot of them are aware of some of this, but we want to, make sure that they understand everything that we know about. We want to create a safe home environment. I mean, everybody wants to stay independent and stay in their own home if possible. So if that's the case, then we want to be sure that it's safe for them. And we want them to, make sure that, they can continue to be independent in their own home. So what we do is we go out there and we educate them a little bit, and we identify what we call risk factors in the home. The state has identified 4 major criteria or 4 major points that they want to emphasize. And the first is vision. Of course, you have to be able to see.
So important.
Yeah. And the problem is that a lot of people don't even go to their doctor for their annual checkups. And we want to be sure you're able to not ignore, the signs of aging. A lot of times we think, I'm just getting old, so, I can still see, while you're holding your paper way away from you, maybe 3 feet away
I
from
can
you.
do that now. My arms aren't long enough, the only thing.
The other thing is medications. A couple of years ago, there was a front page headline article that said 75% of seniors are taking their medications wrong.
It's probably true.
Yeah. And some of it is little things. Sometimes they'll listen more to a friend than they'll listen to their doctor. A friend will say, hey, I took this medicine and made my back feel great. Here, you try it.
It's called codeine. Not good. In fact, we're going to have a story about that prescription drug problem in the state of Hawaii very soon.
Yeah, because, multiple medications can, affect your ability to stay upright, make you dizzy, cause you to fall. And most people are aware of their prescribed drugs, but they not very aware that even over-the-counter drugs or herbal medications can, in combination with prescribed drugs, cause them to get dizzy or something and fall. Yeah.
Besides that, if you don't, a lot of seniors don't drink water, don't like to drink water. You couple that, you get dehydrated. That just exacerbates the problem.
Yeah, one of the things that I emphasize outside of these 4 major points is proper nutrition and being hydrated. A lot of my neighbor, for instance, went to the hospital. The ambulance came and took him away in the middle of the night, and I thought he had a stroke or something. Mm-hmm. Later on, I found out it's because his daughter took away his beer, and he doesn't like to drink water, and he got dehydrated and dizzy and fell down and hit his head.
Yeah, it happens quite more often than we want to imagine or talk about.
Yeah. And then the third point is, of course, exercise and activity. We're not going to be able to run the marathon.
Some people do.
Yeah, well,
there's been 90-year-olds.
Maybe you do.
They're in great shape.
I won't.
We're going to have a story next month about 94-year-old Joan Packer.
Oh, yeah?
Who still works out 5 days a week, has no medication, and no arthritis.
That's great.
So, yeah. But, we got to encourage people to exercise more.
So, but the whole point is we're not, as we age, we're not able to all do that kind of physical activity. So what we want to be sure, though, is that they don't ignore it and just, stay in the house and watch TV like that. We want to get some kind of activity, even if it's a walk, even if it's working in your garden, or even if it's stretching or doing some senior Tai Chi moments or things like that. And I try to emphasize it as an activity because I think what's also important is for them to just get out of the house, socialize, maybe go to a senior club or the YMCA or something.
I tell people go to Rumors Friday night.
Yeah, that's good too.
Rumors Friday night, the Big Chill. We did our fourth story was on Rumors, the Big Chill. And, you know, if you guys don't know by now, Friday night is called the Big Chill from 5 to about 9. They play 50s, 60s, 70s music. 9, 10, they play 80s, 90s music. I mean, I saw a guy there. He must have been 90-something. He barely could walk. Seriously, I was ready to, when he walked into the dance floor, I was ready to hold his hand because I thought he was going to fall down. But he went down there, didn't move a whole lot, but 90-something year old, I mean, I was amazed. I mean, average age before 9 o'clock on Friday night at Rumors at All-in-One Hotel is probably about 65, 70. So, Mike, I want to see you out there next week.
Okay. Pick me up at 10.
Yeah. But it's so true to be active and get out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very important. And the final area is home modification. This is the area that we really concentrate on because seniors spend maybe 75, 80% of the time in their home.
Yeah.
And so there are many things in the home that can trip you up and make you fall. Yeah.
Loose rugs.
Right.
You know, they go buy the cheap rug at the local drugstore and it's, you know, frayed. The steps. I mean, one step is critical.
So it's you know, we look at the bathroom and make sure that you know, this is the most dangerous room in the house. So
yeah, a lot of people don't realize how dangerous it is, and the reason why is
it's easy to slip and fall. You know, it's you got wetness, you got soap and water, and
everything is close.
Yeah,
and everything is hard.
That's
the bars, the wall. The sink, which is a big one. I mean, I didn't think about that, but if you think about it, you know, a bathroom is not, unless you got a big luxury house with a big 500 square foot bathroom. Most bathrooms are like 100 feet, and everything's close to you.
Yeah, so we look at things, try to identify using some kind of assisted device like bars, rails.
It's easy to do, isn't that?
Yeah, it is, and even something simple like changing your shower head to a handheld shower head so that you don't have to turn around when you wash your bath. You know,
a lot of falls happen in the shower. A lot of falls.
And people grow up. You know, we talk about shower chairs so they can sit instead of stand. A lot of older, especially Asian people, have these small little stools that they sit on, but it's hard to get up and down from that as you get older.
Absolutely,
you know? So
absolutely.
We encourage that, and then we look through the house because pathways are very important. We don't walk all over our home most of the time. We want to be sure that the places that we spend the time in, the pathways in between those places are clear of clutter, clear of wires, clear of things that can cause you to deviate, lose your balance, slip and fall.
Yeah. It's so important. So, Mike, thank you very much. Again, the phone number, Mike, for me to call you?
The phone number at Project Donna is 945-3736.
And they can ask for these home safety, fall prevention?
Ask for, you can ask for me, Mike Hirano, or you can ask for free home safety inspection and assessment.
Yeah, so families out there, it's so important. If you got a mom or dad living by themselves and you can complain all you want, they're not going to believe you. But then you have an expert like Mike come in, a third party, not related to you, and Mike's going to say, Mom, you need to do this, this, this. And they're going to say, yeah, son, see, Mike said I need you to do this, 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 right? It happens so often. So Mike and Project Donna, Liz and Maria and Kim and Cyndi, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, if you have any questions, give it Project Donna a call. Again, the mic number is
945-3736.
And they're right off of University Avenue, so take advantage. I did want to mention, as I told you earlier, our ninth annual Aging in Place workshop is on August 15th. It's Saturday at the All-in-One Hotel. Going to be running from about 8 to 2:45 in the morning. It's a Saturday. We'll have 6 breakout rooms, and then we're actually featuring this year in the big room, Alzheimer's and dementia. So we're going to have 3 great speakers. So you have morning sessions and afternoon sessions. You can come anytime you want. You don't have to RSVP. Just come. Bring a boxed lunch or something. I did want to mention we just started a new partnership with ADT. It's the nation's largest security company. I use ADT as well. We have a special through Generations Magazine. You need to call 1-800-699-9238. and it'll route you to a local guy here, Seth Morris, and use our promotion code A as an apple 173852, and you'll get special at least 20% off, if not free. Door sensors, motion sensor inside, and a fire alarm. Free equipment. All you do is pay the monthly. If not, it'd be 20%. If you order more than that, it'd be 20% off. But it's a great deal out there. I'm going to buy my parents. Oh, I shouldn't say I was going to buy my parents a Christmas gift, but if they listen to it, they're going to hear it. They're going to get a free system this year. But Mike and Project Donna, thank you so much. We're here every Saturday from 5 to 6 and Sunday from 3 to 4 here on AM 690, The Answer. And as you know, go to generations808.com to listen to all our shows on our website. Miss Leah, thank you for stepping up and taking our show today. And everybody, live well as always, and have a great weekend. Aloha.